Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Lighting Your Sunshine, where we like to shine a light within and empower ourselves. So today is just, what do we need to know? So we have the Lightworkers Oracle and the Enchanted Map again. I hear 3 or 4. So 1, we've got Break the Chain. We got the Ever Unfolding Rose, which just came out in the last one, so maybe this is a continuation. And Transformation. Who are you? Cool. Oh, yeah. Okay, so in the last reading, this is a continuation from the last reading. Because in the last reading, there was the cleanup card, and there was a cat in the corner or in the window, and I never spoke about the cat, but I remember knowing that the cat was important. So we shuffled this and 3 more popped out. Wasn't the one I wanted with the cat on it, but we've got Mountain in reverse, we've got Talisman, and then, oh, I thought this was a different one. We've got Field of Dreams. I thought this was going to be the flying one that we just had in the last reading too. So let me just look at this, because yesterday's reading was about someone being so impressed with how much you've grown in the last year. They saw you go through your struggles, and they liked how you took your challenges and how you didn't let it keep you down, play victim. They like how every time something was thrown at you, you overcame it and you found balance, and you dusted yourself off and came back. So there was this loving energy about how strong you were. And in it, I don't feel like that you were being watched, and there was someone who wanted to make an offer, but it couldn't come in. It said Spirit was holding them at arm's length away, because there was just a little bit of sharpness in the energy, because it went into the physical body, and then in it she went in and healed the emotional body and then the mental body, which is our aura outside ourselves. So this reading is all talking about how that woman from yesterday, how you, or I'm sorry, not just a woman, it just was a girl in the card, and there's a girl all over these cards, but energies are just that energy. So when I say feminine or woman energy right now, I just mean more of the loving and the nurturing, not so much of like the planning and the going and the building, that kind of thing. So what do we got? We got Breaking the Chain. It says Ancestral Patterns, Healing, Rewiring the Future. And so when I really got stuck into it, it was like her, and then as she went, she like faded, and it got like darker, but then it turned into white light, and then it went into the back here. And so when it went into the cave, it almost was like Plato's cave, where, oh, and then over here we have the mountain in reverse. So that's what it's like. It's like going within the mouth of this cave, and I feel like this is like the ancestors. He looks like there's like this calling, right? Calling them back. And then here it went from dark to light. It's a mix, right? And especially when it comes to our ancestors, we don't know who came before us, and we don't know what kind of actions they took and what kind of people they even were. And yes, you should honor your ancestors, but that's the whole purpose, is to clear up your lines and stop all that stagnation so that the flow for you can be clear. A lot of the time that we don't even know that things that we're dealing with, things that we feel, is actually because of people we've never met, actions. And right, they taught their children, and those children taught their children, and so on and so on. And so now it's come down the line to you, and are you going to break the chain, or do you want to continue the tradition? Usually I would say it's good to keep the tradition, but in this one, it is bringing me back to like it's going back to the light. There is a little bit of things that got twisted and muddied and a little bit of taken away from this source. This light would have been great. It would have illuminated all the shadows and hidden secrets. Going back to the light. Oh yeah, and then the thing about Plato's cave is like, they say like people get trapped in the, right, you go in the cave and people will watch the shadows on the wall, kind of like TV, right? That's our cave now. But in the days they would go back and watch the shadows on the wall and believe the shadows would become real. I'm butchering this, but that is what I'm seeing, right? Sometimes there's so many illusions and dark shadows that dance outside of ourselves that have gone on for so long that we now believe that it's real. So now they're going to say like TV or things that we've seen, right? Especially if you just watch the news and you take the news as facts. There is 3 sides to every story. So taking that in consideration. But in this cave, we get trapped in thinking that things that aren't real are real, and it keeps us paralyzed, and that's us on our phones, right? We're staring at this thing, and the real thing, the real magic is your existence. You are this beautiful creature. You're so powerful. You're not meant to be zombified in just a neutral state and just having the information fed to you. Field of dreams. Each one of these is a seed. Are these eggs or seeds? These are eggs, but they're just as powerful as a seed. Each one can crack open and have new potential. You do need to take time to protect it and nurture it and keep it warm. And the best way to do that is to follow your guidance. So here she's walking the path. She's got the talisman. This will always guide. It's your heart kind of thing. It will always guide you to the right path for you to heal, to grow these seeds. There is this inner calling. And so if you can't quite hear the mountain, because the mountain was in reverse, we can tap within. So what about this talisman, Spirit, can you share? So when I looked at it even closer, it went to her feet and how there is the yin yang there and how she's stepping on that part. You do need to look to the light. So now with the light, they're bringing me back to these ancestors. So it's like, this one is you. This we would say is your mom. But somewhere in it, it just got a little bit muddled or grainy, we'll say. So there is this real need to kind of bring it back to source. And so when I looked at her, this light is bringing it back to source. You do need to focus on the higher frequency, the higher road, the energetically higher energy that will unfold to this transformation. You can keep following the darker timeline, but if you look, they're kind of faded. It takes a lot of energy to maintain that boldness of, like, for the darkness, in order to not be see-through. There's so much potent energy that needs to be focused on that, and sometimes it's just not feasible, they say. So back to the dragon. They're now telling me that these are dragon eggs, and the reason why I saw that, focusing on the light, it's on her arm. It turned out to be a dragon on there. And so the dragon, it showed me as a spirit guide, an energetic spirit guide. And now they really want me to... Okay, so in history is always written by the victors, right? So they want me to go back to this card. Let's say that there was a war or there was problems within something, right? This was a fight, this was a fight, each one's a fight. Well, this was written in this person's story. This person wrote this story. But when it comes to spirit guides, there are some spirit guides that have shifted and shape-shifted and become different things throughout stories. A good example would be like Archangel Michael. He's been around for a long time and he's in a lot of stories. Another one would be like Thoth, how he's also known as Hermes, or he's also known as Mercury, right? The Romans had theirs, the Greek had theirs, but sometimes they're talking about the exact same energy. But based on that story of who's telling the story, because most of these beings are how they describe nature and occurrences. And so let's say Archangel Michael. A lot of the times when my guides go talk about like God or something like that, they do that, like they always show me that Leonardo DiCaprio thing where he's like laughing, because to me my guides are like, sure, if that's the one that you want to connect to, but why don't we go even before that? Like, that's just the most recent story, but let's go back to source, let's go back to basics. And that's what they're saying about when you work with your guides and your family line. Somewhere in your family line, it did start off as pure white light. And so this is source. So when you're having troubles dealing with these ones in between, and that's where that block kind of comes in and you're not really feeling the guidance from your ancestors, they're saying there is a need to go to the very original. And so sometimes when we call on our spirit guides, they say just go to the original ones, right? The original source, not the one that was from source that someone took and then wrote a story about it. And then, right, there's sometimes even more behind it when we go to the original, the OG, they say. So going back in our ancestral lines, going to the original source so that we can connect with that energy. And almost, if you did watch yesterday's reading, are they here? No, I shuffled. She had like this line and she controlled where the things and how quick people came to her. I really feel like these two are very connected, so sorry if you didn't watch it, it makes no sense, but she had a line and there was a ship balancing on it and she could bring it. That's almost like you connecting to the original and then everyone in between kind of being balanced out. You could go back, right? Like an example, I heal myself and then I go back and I reflect on my mom, and then I go back to my grandma and then my great grandma and things. And sometimes that's a great way to work through your healing. But sometimes you can just go to the original and like, whoop, fine tune it all. So this one is saying cracked open. It's saying the ever unfolding rose. It's happening for you, not to you. So now they're showing me each generation of the family and how in the middle, they did the best that they could do. They're telling me no, some people didn't. They really did selfish choices and they didn't even really think about the future. Some of them tried, some of them didn't, but that's just what we were dealt with. And each one opened up and led to you. And you're the one here that's here to change, right? Each one led and opened up to you. It happened for you, not to you. So it is a gift. If they didn't exist, you wouldn't exist. So there is sometimes, it's just the little things we could do. I'll take on a little bit of your ancestral karmic baggage so that I could have this awesome abundant life that I have right now. especially in the times that we live right now. With the internet or everything, like, we can connect to people so easy, and knowledge is so abundantly available. That's what I love about this channel, is like, I'm not trying just for like my community, I'm trying for the world. And so I love hearing when people tell me like where in the world they are, because I'm up here in Canada. And yeah, that's what's so cool with how we are these days. So here you are, ever unfolding. You're here like, I want to learn new lessons. I want to learn all these things. I'm going to come, I'm going to change the world. So universe says we do need to like crack you open a little bit, crack open your heart so that we can heal these first. And the crummy part is like, you think that it's you, it's like this chip or this burden that's you, but it's not you. So once you kind of follow this intuition and let the talisman lead you, going back to the original source, you unblock this cave moment of being trapped and letting the figures, the shadows and the illusions that seem real, well, now you just see that it's just a little puppet show. And so you can take your energy back. When you take your energy back, that's when you start having all these new hopes and dreams. And these dragon eggs, again, they say you do need to take care of them and incubate them and things, but when they crack open, when they flourish, you'll know that it was just always worth it. Each spiral down the family line, the blending of the light and the dark, it's going to make sense, they say. So the last card we haven't really touched up on is the transformation card. There's that DNA. It's you taking all the past things that have been thrown at you, and transmuting it into something higher, into light energy. I hear light codes, things like that. One thing that will really help you with healing your ancestral DNA line. Yes, we talked about going to the original and how you can balance all of them in it, but it's actually bringing in more light into you. So they're telling me with the sun, it's letting your sun shine, but there's a need to bring in the sun and then to give the sun. So they want to bring in the sun in through your crown, and then let's say this is your palms, right? You bring it in through your palms to your heart, out your heart, it kind of goes out into your palm. Now that's you putting it into your line. Everyone in the past. It's when I show it out the palms, again, we're working on the aura around us. We have the physical, the emotional, and then the mental, and then it goes and goes and goes. But also you control how far out your aura is and how close. So if you're going out and you're collecting everybody's energy and you don't feel good, Spirit's saying you really got to fine tune that in, because we need to clear this up. If you're picking up on strangers that you're passing in the street, they're saying you really need to protect yourself. You need to put yourself in your light and ground it. Because what we really want to focus on is clearing up that energy of our ancestors through it. So if you're out there just being this walking antenna, like, I'm an empath, pick me, you're going to absorb. So they're saying, for someone watching, focus on that first, not picking up the people's energy first, and then going into the ancestors. Only because I think if you jumped into the ancestors, like, you could do that, but I'm hearing you might just get other people's energy confused with your lineage. And so, yeah, transformation. So when I look at this one and she's sitting on the crown, on the throne, they're telling me all the ancestors are like, each of us did what we did, but you're the one that we always knew that was going to come and reunite everyone again, back to the source, back to the light. Because there was a split. It did go from light to dark, and then you're the one that's going to bring it back. You're going to solidify it. Remember how it kind of went see-through for a bit? It faded. You're going to be solid and start new, I hear. These seeds, there's more to it, but we can't tell you what it is because it's your dream. And so the more that you focus on healing your ancestral line, the more and more they'll bless you and the energy will flow, because when they help you, they help themselves. You help them help themselves. When spirits pass away, it's not like they stop learning. They still have soul lessons to do. You always have a soul lesson to do. And so that's our whole purpose of existence and all the different planes and realms and places we go. So we're going to leave it there. I feel like that was a nice message. And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.